I'm good. Merab is out. He's not. He's got staph infection, though, on his arm. Just got here as Merab actually got staph. Austin, yeah, he's got a staph infection on his arm, blatantly, in the picture that he just released. Well, Sean, they did pictures for the UFC, for the event, and he's got staph infection on his arm. What are your thoughts on that old clip of Merab diving headfirst into a frozen lake? Yeah, it's Merab in it, like he's not genetically diverse, is he? So he's going to jump headfirst into a frozen lake. It's funny, though. It is funny. Like, it's crazy that he didn't get knocked out by that, which shows that he does have a good dome on him. Maybe the chin's a bit weak, but the dome is definitely rock solid. But yeah, it's funny. It was a funny little clip. I hope he's all right, though. What's your favorite? Actually, I don't know if he's all right. I hope he gets slept. We need O'Malley right now. Remember the DC versus Jones face-off with Rogan in the middle? That was incredible. DDP and Izzy are big middleweights, and even when they were incredibly drained, they had heated moments at the presser. They're not big middleweights. Oh, DDP and Izzy, yeah. They had heated moments at the presser. Imagine a face-to-face a month before. Yeah, Izzy would have embarrassed himself even more. You know what I think it was, chat, with a lot of the lack of promotion for that fight? I actually think they didn't want Adesanya to embarrass himself. Like, I know the UFC was like, maybe they don't want to, like, incite the real side of it. But I also think the UFC, a part of them was like, Izzy's embarrassing himself and he's our big star. We should, like, dial this back in terms of how much interaction he gets with DDP. Because he cried at the press conference. He went into a meltdown in the octagon where he screamed at him like 50 times. Nothing wrong with him saying, it's just like, why are you saying it? Like, it doesn't make any sense in that context. But yeah, I think he was just embarrassing himself step after step. Or the UFC just don't promote fights. They do not. They do nothing to promote fights. Embedded and a montage on Instagram fight week is not fight promotion. It's not. There's so many more things they could be doing. You're about to overtake Ariel as Dana's least favorite MMA personality. Bet before 2024 ends, you'll see Dana like a post dissing you. Something like that, yeah. Definitely. I don't know why he hasn't mentioned me once at a press conference, but it's all good. Maybe he just doesn't give a fuck about me. I could see that. He's getting out, Dana. I think he's trying to dip. So he's having a few bucket list promotion things, like sinking all this money into the Sphere, his power slap baby that he's building, and all these little stupid things that he's doing. Getting all his podcast runs done, you know. I feel like he's going to dip in a few years. I think it's a lot sooner than we think it is. Thank you for the $2. Shavkat versus Bilal. Who you got? I got Shavkat, but you know what? I agree with Bilal. I just put it up on Twitter that, you know, Bilal said that he thinks that Shavkat hasn't earned it yet. I agree. I absolutely agree. And I feel like Bilal should sit out until mid-July next year and take 9 months out of his career at 36 years of age. And Shavkat should fight JDM in the meantime. How does Shavkat beat Bilal without takedowns? He needs the fuck out of him in the clinch, I think. I think he can lock him up in over-unders with his height and then blast a fucking body with knees and shots and uppercuts and short shots on the inside. I think his pressure will do well because Shavkat moves forward a lot. And I think that's what you got to do to beat Bilal. You got to push him backwards. That's what Luke K did. And I don't think Luke K is as good as some of these other fighters that Bilal has beaten since. But Luke K pushes forward. And that's how he made the second fight competitive and slept Bilal in the first fight. Jeff Neal did the same thing. He just pushes forward. Some of these guys don't like being backed up. Those are the guys that are going to do well against Bilal. Old men and plotty Russian version of Derek Lewis. All right, you want to talk facts? I'll tell you this right now. Aside from DC, that version of Pavlovich beats everyone ever on Jones's legacy ever. Sick of it. Tackled by Rugby Saw. He slipped. It was a wet mat. Keep coping, bro. I know you're a Jones fan. It's a fact. Other than DC, Pavlovich sleeps every single one that is on John Jones's legacy. That version of Pavlovich absolutely does. Maybe even DC, but that's where I draw the line at, like, even DC potentially, but, you know. We hear stories at AKA where DC was able to get the takedowns off on him, so maybe he would have been able to, you know. So I'm sick of people diminishing Aspinall's wins, dude. Pavlovich, that version, flatlines anyone I guarantee it, but DC, he could sleep DC, but I guarantee it for everyone but DC. He'd sleep them. Gustafsson flatlines Pavlovich. Let me tell you this right now. If any version of you loses to Smith, you don't beat Pavlovich ever. I don't give a fuck. He can still KO DC. I just don't know if he would. He got toppled over by Overeem, you know? But he's way better at takedown defense. DC was saying that he fucking leaped and bound in terms of how he stuffs takedowns. He's got one of the best wrestling coaches in the country, I'm pretty sure. Would Pereira have been this successful without Izzy? Maybe not. Izzy did fast track him to the belt because of their rivalry. But you can't say without Izzy because he fucking beat Izzy in kickboxing. So it's not like he was just carried through it. But I reckon he would still do one quite well, but he probably would have faced a more difficult matchup on the come up. So maybe not. Fun fact, every time you've picked against Pereira, he's brutally flatlined his opponent because they're all... By the way, Pereira has never flatlined a UFC fighter. Just saying. He's got crazy power, but he's never flatlined anyone in the UFC. True. So giving him 100 power on the game is kind of insane, I think. Like, he's got power to consistently hurt people with the left hook and then put them away. But, like, you really didn't put Adesanya away in the 5th and flatline him? He didn't flatline Yuri. He didn't. He had to follow up. He had to follow up on Strickland. He had to follow up on Yuri. He had to follow up on Andreas Michailidis. No one's been slept. Yuri slept, motherfuckers. I'm just saying, like, I'm a big Pereira fan. I'm not dumb. He's never left a guy snoozing in the UFC. He's never left a guy flatline snoozing. Sorry. Everyone he's put away has required follow-up shots to get a finish. And I'm a huge fan of Pereira. I'm talking about one-hitter quitter, flatline him out cold, what Josh Emmett does to people. Just saying. It's not bait. It's such true factual information. He has insane power consistently, but he doesn't flatline KO people in the UFC. The only person he's done is the black guy at LFA. He flatlined people in kickboxing, but he's not doing it in MMA. I'm just saying. The flying knee it was not watch it back. He had to follow up on Andreas because he was like this, worming around on the ground. Sorry, not sorry. It's absolute true fact. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that he has the most power. I'm just saying. He's not flatlining people. Like, they're not going face first, not responsive on the ground. Just saying. Hill wasn't flatlined. He got slept and dropped and then came back and then fucking Pereira's battering his head in to get the finish. Yuri wasn't flatlined either. He was out of it to where a finish was required. Yeah, you guys don't know what flatline means, and it annoys me you can fucking vote in this world. I'm talking switch them off, lay them out cold. They are asleep, not responding. He has never done that to a UFC opponent, and if you think he has, you've never watched a fucking finish of Alex Pereira. Sorry, not sorry. There's nothing wrong with that. But you guys can't argue against that as a point. It's correct. Emmett has flatlined people to where they're seizing up on the ground, not responding. You know what I mean? Flatline, Holloway, Gaethje, Yuri Ozdemir. Like, we've had so many what the girl just did on the fucking Contender Series. Flatlined the motherfucker. He's never flatlined anyone. I'm sorry. In the UFC, he's never done it. Sorry. Usman flatlined Masvidal. Pereira has never flatlined a guy dead, out cold, non-responding. And I'm a huge Pereira fan. Huge Pereira fan. I'm just annoyed that someone argued that with me when I just said it as a throwaway line. So now we're having a big debate about it now for no reason, even though I'm correct. Just in time for yet another delusional take. It's not a horrible take. You made me double down so hard because it was originally disagreed with, even though it's absolute fact. You guys are just fucking... You know what? This is the level of Pereira fan. I'm going to say it right now. Adesanya haters, they like Pereira and they're Brazilian. Poatan fans, Alex Pereira Giga Chad fans, for Alex Pereira at the very top. And some of you are in that bracket. I'm sorry. That is the level of fandom that he has. Adesanya hater is where the lowest level Pereira fan there is. Pereira's cool. I'm Brazilian. I support him. I'm a Pereira fan and I'm international. I'm not even Brazilian and I'm a Pereira fan. Poatan, let's go. Yeah. Ha, hey, up, hey, hey. I'm for Alex Pereira is then the next level of fan base. It's insane. Giga Chad Pereira fan is the hey, up, hey, hey. Dum, dum, dum. That walkout, dude, followed by this is how legends are made. Whoa. Look at the guys Alex finished Hill, Yuri. I know, I'm saying he has finishes. He's never fucking flatlined anyone, you dumb voting right having bitch. I agree with your take. He has a lot in kickboxing. Maybe the gloves have something to do with it. Maybe he's more grounded in kickboxing with his stance when it comes to putting into big power shots. Maybe he does hold back a little bit in the UFC because he doesn't want to be too heavy on his feet or planted and stationary. So he tries to be a little looser in case they're going to, because he'll wobble someone. And I'm sure in his mind, he's thinking, don't get double legged right now and fuck this up. So maybe that's something to do with it. But also in kickboxing, though, something you've got to consider, a lot of his flatlines, not the Jacoby one, but other ones that he has, he's just dropped the guy twice and they're like up on their feet again with no idea where they are. And then he flatlines them. Other than the Jacoby one, and there's a few others. But like Jason Wilness, he's already fucking head kicked him and then flying kneed him and then he puts him away with whatever he put him. I think he actually put him away with a flying knee. But kickboxing's different because you see the KOs, but you don't see the 2 knockdowns that happened before them in the last 2 rounds. And Salt MMA Central to bring back the intro, please. You want me to fucking terminate your channel, do you?